Hello, all you film freaks and movie maniacs out there. My name is Nolan Carr, and I'd like to welcome you to the go-to podcast for all things cinema. But before you can ask any questions, just sit back, relax, as I present to you a Strawlane Studio Productions Critiquing with Carr. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another great edition of the show. I'm Critiquing with Carr for Memorable Movie Monday. As always, if you enjoy these reviews up until now, do us a favor by subscribing on YouTube, following on the audio platforms, clicking that thumbs up or like buttons so you can tell us when you release episodes, turning on post notifications so you can stay up to date on those platforms when episodes release, as well as clicking that share arrow so you can continue to grow the podcast with all your friends and family. Also, if you want other ways to stay up to date with the show, do us a favor by following us on Instagram at Critiquing with Carr. I say all that because on this week's great edition of the show, we're talking about the classic samurai film Harakiri. And with that being said, let's begin. This movie was directed by Masaki Kobayashi. The screenwriter was Shinobu Hashimoto. It was based off the book Iburunen Ki by Yasuhiko Takiguchi. The movie was produced by Tatsuo Hosoya. The cast for Harakiri is as follows: Tatsuya Nakati, Shima Awashida, Akira Ashihama, Tetsuro Tamba, and Rentaro Mikuni. The cinematography for this film was done by Yoshio Miyajima. The movie was edited by Hisashi Sagara. The musical score was completed by Toru Takemitsu. The production and distribution company was Shochiku. Harakiri was released on September 16th of 1962, and the runtime for this movie was 133 minutes. The accolades for this movie were as follows: at the Blue Ribbon Awards, Tatsuya Nakati won for Best Actor and Shinobu Hashimoto for Best Screenplay. At the Mainichi Film Concourse Awards, Masaki Kobayashi won for Best Film, Junichi Osumi and Shigemasa Toda won for Best Art Direction, Toru Takemitsu for Best Film Score, and Hideo Nishizaki for Best Sound Recording. At the Kinema Junpo Awards, Tatsuya Nakadi won for Best Director, Masaki Kobayashi was nominated for Best Film. At the Valladolid International Film Festival Awards, Masaki Kobayashi won the City of Valladolid Award. At the Italian National Syndicate of Film Journalists Awards, Masaki Kobayashi was nominated for Best Foreign Director. And finally, last but not least, at the Cannes Film Festival Awards, Masaki Kobayashi won the Jury Special Prize and was also nominated for the Palme d'Or Award. And now it's time for one of my two favorite parts, which is when I list off the top 10 highest-grossing films for that year's release, 1962's Harakiri. Coming in at number 10 was Bon Voyage. It was distributed by Buena Vista Distribution. Its worldwide gross was $5 million. And it stars Fred MacMurray, Jane Wyman, and Michael Callan. Coming number 9 was Gypsy. It was distributed by Warner Bros. Its worldwide gross was $11.01 million. And it stars Rosalind Russell, Natalie Wood, and Cora Malden. Coming number 8 was Hatari. It was distributed by Paramount Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $12.9 million. And it stars John Wayne, Hardy Kruger, and Alyssa Martinelli. Coming number 7 was To Kill a Mockingbird. It was distributed by Universal Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $13.1 million. It stars Gregory Peck, Mary Badham, and Philip Alford. Coming in at number 6 was Mutiny on the Bounty. It was distributed by MGM. Its worldwide gross was $13.6 million, and it stars Marlon Brando, Trevor Ward, and Richard Harris. Coming in number 5 was The Music Man. It was distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $15 million, and it stars Robert Preston, Shirley Jones, and Buddy Hackett. Coming in at number 4 was That Touch of Mink. It was distributed by Universal Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $17.6 million. It stars Cary Grant, Doris Day, and Gig Young. Coming number 3 was In Search of the Castaways. It was distributed by Buena Vista Distribution. Its worldwide gross was $21.7 million, and it stars Maurice Chevalier, Haley Mills, and George Sanders. Coming number 2 was The Longest Day. It was distributed by 20th Century Fox. Its worldwide gross was $50.1 million. It stars John Wayne, Henry Fonda, and Robert Mitchum. And finally, coming in at number 1 as the highest-grossing film for 1962 was Lawrence of Arabia. It was distributed by Columbia Pictures. Its worldwide gross was $70 million and stars Alec Guinness, Anthony Quinn, and Jack Hawkins. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, my review of 1962's Harakiri. Harakiri, directed by Masaki Kobayashi and released in 1962, is often hailed as one of the greatest films ever made. Set during the Edo period in 17th century Japan, this movie tells a story of honor, revenge, and the samurai code. Although it's celebrated for its storytelling and cinematography, my experience with Harakiri was mixed, marked by a combination of intriguing moments and notable flaws. Harakiri centers on Tsugumo Hanshiro, a ronin who arrives at the Iai clan's estate, requesting to perform seppuku in their courtyard. The clan's senior counselor, Saito Kagiyu, is suspicious and recounts the tragic fate of another ronin, Tujiwa Motomi, who recently made a similar request. Motomi was forced to carry out the suicide using his own bamboo blade, resulting in a gruesome and painful death. Through a series of flashbacks, we learn that Motomi was Henshiro's son-in-law, and Henshiro's request is driven by a desire to expose the clan's hypocrisy and seek revenge for his family's suffering. The film's introduction is intriguing but somewhat challenging to follow. I found myself restarting the movie several times to grasp the context provided by the narrator. The slow-paced interaction between Hanshiro and Geigyu further tested my patience as it felt drawn out from a viewer's perspective. One of the film's strengths lies in its character portrayals, though not all were equally compelling. The Ai's clan's meeting to discuss whether to let Motomi join the clan was a highlight, showcasing their adherence to principles, however flawed they may be. The Harakiri ceremony itself is a mixed bag. While I appreciate the attendance of all the samurai retainers and the use of Motomi's own bamboo blade, the scene's execution was somewhat lacking. The prolonged and painful process was conceptually powerful, but unconvincing due to the acting and dated effects. Given that the movie is over 60 years old, these shortcomings are somewhat understandable. The blend of Jijiwa and Hanshiro's stories through flashbacks was well handled from an editing perspective, maintaining a cohesive narrative flow. Once the identities and relationships of the characters became clear, the story became more engaging, though this realization took nearly 40 minutes. The storytelling technique in Harakiri is commendable, especially in how Henshiro's motivations are gradually revealed. Seeing his family's brief happiness and subsequent downfall was powerful and expertly depicted. However, the pacing was a significant issue. The film's length and the protracted nature of certain scenes, particularly the ending, detracted from the overall experience. Henshiro's final battle against the clan samurai, while initially exciting, felt unnecessarily prolonged, souring the film's conclusion. In comparison to other samurai films like Seven Samurai, Harakiri falls short in my opinion. The movie took too long to capture my interest, often requiring me to rewind and rewatch scenes due to its dense and slow-paced narrative. While Saito, Omodaka Hikikuru, and Mutami's father were intriguing characters, and Shiro himself did not resonate with me as strongly. Despite this, the film's depiction of his tragic backstory and the intertwining of plot points were well executed. Ultimately, Harakiri is a film with moments of brilliance overshadowed by its flaws. The story of honor and revenge is compelling, but the execution left much to be desired. The movie's length and the dragging final act diminished its impact, and the outdated action sequences and special effects further detracted from the experience. For those reasons just mentioned in this review, I never plan on seeing this movie again or recommend it to anyone, which is also why I'm only able to manage to rank it as 6 out of 10 on the Diamond Dave scale. And as we wrap up today's not-so-great edition of Critiquing with Carr on Memorable Movie Monday, we have a few more things to discuss. As always, if you've enjoyed this week's edition of the show, as well as any other edition of the show, do us a favor by subscribing on YouTube, following on the audio platforms, clicking a thumbs up or like button so you can tell us you enjoy these episodes, turning on post notifications on those platforms so you know when new episodes release, as well as clicking that share arrow so you can continue to grow the podcast with all your friends and family. Also, if you want other ways to stay up to date with the show, do us a favor by following us on Instagram at Critiquing with Carr. And with that, my film freaks and cinephiles, happy viewing.